Eagles compensatory picks are here, and now it's just a matter of Howie Roseman picking the right player. And speaking of right player, Saquon Barkley to the Eagles has the NFL in a state of panic. Dallas still stinks. Yo, by the way, King Dingbat here. Hope everyone's having a great day. Hope you guys are doing well. Be hanging in there. So the free agency tampering period is only a few days away, and I absolutely cannot wait. And all the buzz right now is Saquon Barkley and the Eagles possibly working something out. And if you want to know, is that the right move for the Eagles to make? Look no further than Tiki Barber and the utter state of panic he is about Barkley possibly going to the Eagles. And speaking of the Eagles, we just got awarded our compensatory picks, and Howie Roseman better hit on these. We can't afford to be missing out on these players. We need at least 2 starters out of this draft. But before we get into all of it, I have a quick word from the sponsor of this video. Yo, you want to know one thing you haven't seen on my channel in the last few weeks? You haven't seen me get a phone call during a live stream. You haven't seen me get a phone call during a video, which totally throws my train of thought off because I'm sitting there thinking to myself, what area code is this? Who's calling me from this area code? Do I know anybody from this area code? Is it important or is it just spam? 99.9% of the time, it's just spam. And to me, it drives me crazy, but thankfully it's all come to an end because of Aurora, and I am really appreciative of them for sponsoring today's video. Listen, these data brokers, they get all your information and they sell it. They don't care. There's supposed to be ways for you to opt out, but it's always very difficult too. And they'll sell your information to spammers, to scammers. They'll even sell it to Dallas Cowboy fans. They don't care. They'll sell your name, your address, your medical records, your family names and numbers. They'll sell everything. They'll sell whether you walk on your tiptoes, you walk with a limp. They'll sell it all. But thankfully, with Aurora, they let you know who these data brokers are that are selling your information, and they automatically opt out. This is a great app that does just so much more than opting out. They do a ton of different things. You got antivirus, VPN, you got password management, parental controls, identity theft issues. Everything is pretty much taken care of on the Aurora app. Go to the AuroraApp.com, use my promo code Philly500, and get yourself a 2-week free membership. Try it out yourself, see how you like it. If you're like me, you don't want these people calling you or bothering you. Okay, privacy is of the utmost importance. So, yes, Aurora, this app does it all. A lot of times you have to get apps from here, you got to get apps from there, and, you know, it's a pain in the butt. Everything is in one place here, and I think you'll love it. They have made my life so much easier, and I believe they will make yours. Check the link in the description and follow it, and go have your 2-week trial and see exactly what I'm talking about. Use my promo code Philly500. Now, let's get to this video. All right, so let's talk about compensatory picks. Here's what the Eagles received today in terms of compensatory picks. Dave Zangaro wrote this. The Eagles have received 4 compensatory picks for the 2024 draft. A 3rd-round pick, number 97, a 5th-round pick, 170, a 5th-round pick, 171, and a 6th-round pick, 210. So that's 4 compensatory picks. Obviously, the 3rd-round pick is the best pick that the Eagles could possibly have in terms of compensatory picks. And I think that was Semalu was the reason we got that. But here's what our draft picks look like now going into the draft. Jeff McClain wrote this. The Pound Eagles were awarded 4 compensatory draft picks today. So now they have a total of 8 picks. We have the 1st round, the 22nd overall. Round 2 is 50 from the Saints. Then we pick 53 of our own. Round 3, 97. That's a compensatory pick. Round 5, 160 from the Bucks. Round 5 again, 170. Round 5 again. We got 3 5th round picks. So we got 160, 170, and 171 in the 5th. And then round 6, we go 210, which is another comp pick. So really, we've got 8 picks. 4 of them are compensatory picks. So the Eagles are going to have 8 draft picks, and that should be plenty. That should be more than enough, in my opinion, for the Eagles to go out there and get players. They need at least two starters out of this draft on defense, in my opinion. And the way I kind of see it going, just heading into free agency, and we'll see because things can change. But this is what I kind of think is going to happen. I think the Eagles are going to draft defensive end, offensive linemen, cornerbacks. I think free agency, you're going to see running backs, safeties, third wide receiver all get signed, and linebackers. I think those are going to be taken care of in free agency. But I think primarily corner, defensive end, and then offensive linemen, I think, are going to be taken early in the draft. And then the other positions, running back, safety, wide receiver, and linebacker, will be free agency. And, we're all wondering, what would the Eagles actually get with Haason Reddick? And there was an interesting piece today by Josina Anderson, and she was talking about Brian Burns. Now, Brian Burns is somebody that I would be very interested in acquiring, especially if I'm going to have to deal with Haason Reddick and get rid of him, okay? But we're all trying to figure out, what is Haason Reddick worth compensation-wise? And she wrote this, and I'm going to read this because it's pretty interesting. Regarding Carolina's current situation with Brian Burns, a league source told me that in their opinion, the Pound Panthers should adapt better present circumstances in order to potentially consummate a trade. The source said, in their view, it's a double whammy for a team to pay huge money for a player and then also give huge draft compensation to the other team for a deal. They added the time to get more draft picks was given when the player has years left on their deal. But if the player is in the last year of the deal, the other team has to be prepared to keep the player or take less. I believe Carolina is seeking a first-round pick for Brian Burns. So they want a first-round pick, and then they want somebody to go out there and then pay Brian Burns, the $30 million he wants. I've heard some league sources say a third-round compensation is fair for Burns if the acquiring team is also giving him a long-term deal. But asking for a 1+ is definitely too much for them. So basically, what they're saying is that league scouts and people out there and sources in the NFL think that Carolina should get a third-round pick for Brian Burns because a team is going to have to pay him. He wants $30 million a year. So who's going to give up a first-round pick and then pay a guy $30 million a year? Why that's interesting to me is because when I look at Haason Reddick, I see a similar situation. Haason Reddick is older. He might not want as much, but what are the Eagles actually going to be able to get for Haason Reddick? Somebody that's going to have to sign him to a $25 million a year contract and then turn around and pay huge compensation to the Eagles. What, another second-round pick? Something like that? I don't see it happening. If Carolina realistically, in a fair trade, in a fair market, can get a third-round pick, then what are the Eagles going to get for Haason Reddick? My point being, it ain't worth it. It ain't worth trading Haason Reddick. Play him. Now, Haason Reddick does have 1 year left on his contract, and maybe that will help things out. But I don't think Reddick is going to go to any other team that isn't going to redo his contract right away. So I think the best bet for Haason Reddick is to just keep him. It seems like it's the smartest move. You need him anyways. Maybe you could work something out, save $11 million of cap space, or you let him go into the last year of his contract. But either way, at this point, I don't see how you could trade him, but we'll see. There's no way I think Carolina is going to get a first-round pick for Brian Burns and then get $30 million. They probably know that they're not getting a first-round pick, but they want to get a second-round pick. So who knows? It's going to be interesting. This whole free agency period coming up, especially when the legal tampering begins, is absolutely going to be fascinating because the truth of the matter is we hear so much stuff going on, and we really don't know. It's all speculation. It's all hearsay. It's what sources say, Look at this. Here's another report with Saquon Barkley today. A report: the Pound Eagles had a strong interest in Saquon Barkley last year, per New York Daily News Sports, but the Giants tagged him. Saquon is now unrestricted free agent, and Philadelphia is expected to heavily pursue him. And then it goes on to talk about how Barkley has close friends that were Eagle fans, and that they're Eagle fans. They'll root for him, but they're Eagle fans. So I guess what they're saying is that there's some sort of incentive for him to go back to Philly. We know that it might be possible. I think the funniest thing was Tiki Barber going on and talking about how Barkley could go anywhere else, but if he goes to Philly, that's a problem. That's going to be a big problem. And the reason I think it's hysterical is because I totally agree with him. If I was an Eagle fan and it was the opposite, and he was, and one of our players was going, if Devontae Smith was a free agent and now going to go to the Giants, I would be pissed off. But what that always tells you at the end of the day, when you see that, what that really tells you is that he's a good player, and that people know he's a good player. So when you hear all these people saying, well, Barkley can't play, Barkley can't do this, Barkley can't do that, Barkley could play. Barkley is a good player. He just has had no talent around him. And let me tell you this, a lot of talk about his injuries. Playing on that field is a problem. Barkley getting out of the Giants Stadium and going to a better field will probably add years to his career. Okay, they will add years. And if you actually have talent around, they had to use Barkley so much. It's crazy. But overall, Barkley has been he's played most of his games the last few years. And I think Barkley is one of those guys with the right switch, the right team. He is going to be Christian McCaffrey to another team, a good team. So if he goes, whether it's the Eagles, whether it's Dallas, whether it's Houston, I have no idea. But whoever he goes to, if that team is good and has talent around him, I'm telling you, he's going to put up Christian McCaffrey type numbers. And why not? Why not have it in Philly? Now people say, well, Swift does the same thing as Barkley. Why not just keep Swift? I love Swift. I would keep Swift anyways. I would keep Swift regardless. If I had my first choice, like I said, I would choose Derrick Henry and Swift combo and go into the season doing that. But if the Eagles don't want to do that and they just want Barkley, they're going to try. You see, Barkley is now, the running back class is now almost becoming a bargain for teams, because nobody's going to pay these guys. Barkley's not getting $13 million. He's not getting $12 million. He's not getting $10 million. They're talking about $8 or $9 million a year. Okay? If Barkley's going to make $8 or $9 million a year, yeah, I think Howie Roseman would do it. I think he would consider a bargain. Especially what was his last franchise number? Like $15 million? So I think he would definitely do it. And I think a lot of teams will do it. And I think you'll see the running backs, I think their market will steady up, this all season, and will kind of know where they are. And what's going to be interesting is the safety market. Is the safety market going to fall into the same trap? Are the safeties the next real group to be devalued? Because there are a lot of safeties on the market. We'll see. We'll find out. Remember, Philly Shakedown podcast this weekend. I will talk to you guys later. Take care. And of course, don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision. We're all just living in it. So I'm on the search for Sicilian pizza, right? Like, you can't get Sicilian pizza anywhere else but the Northeast. I'm sorry, I just haven't had it. Now, my brother's telling me that Vegas finally has it and stuff. We'll see when I go out to Vegas if they really have. I've seen places call Square Pizza Sicilian pizza, but it's not just Sicilian pizza, okay? It's just not the same thing. And so I was looking for some places, and I always look around here. I always try to find, like, odd pizza places, right? So I'm like, there's this one place, and I look it up, and I'm like, I've never heard of that place. Oh, what? They're claiming they have Sicilian pizza. Oh, okay. All right, I'm going to try this place out. So I order pizza. I go up there with my daughter, and I'm like driving around, can't find this place. I'm looking for it. and there's this giant building, and this giant building is like, it's this place called Incredible John's, and Incredible John's is basically like Chuck E. Cheese. It's like a Chuck E. Cheese. So it's claiming this restaurant is in this place, Incredible John's. So I'm going to pick up this pizza, and they're saying it's an Incredible John's. I'm going, you have to be kidding me. And I'm telling my daughter, and we're walking in, I'm going, this can't be real. This better not be the pizza I'm talking about. Sure enough, it was Incredible John's pizza. It was like ordering Little Caesar's pizza and bringing it home. I would never do that. Oh my God, I will never find Sicilian pizza as long as I live out here. It drives me nuts. Denzel Washington out.